Can you truly rank all of the best food here in Hollywood Studios? Well, we're gonna find out, and I hope that you're hungry. When it comes to dining in Disney World, things can get pretty overwhelming just because there's so many options and the price points kind of vary. So today we are gonna head out in Hollywood Studios to tell you what is and isn't worth your money when it comes to eating like the stars in Hollywood. Now for this one, we're gonna be breaking up into snack stands, lounges, quick services, and table service. Let's start with snack stands. So at the bottom of our list, Anaheim Produce. Let's talk about why. So you're gonna find Anaheim Produce here on Sunset Boulevard, and honestly, it's just a snack stand. It's pretty basic. It does have frozen drinks, but it's very skippable, and there are some alcoholic beverages, like I said, those frozen drinks, but normally it's just not the best. Plus, who's eating fruit at the theme park anyways, you know? So next to last on our snack stands list, we're headed to the market right outside of Toy Story Land. So this is a walk-up stand that is right next to the Pixar place. It has hot dogs, nachos, popcorn, you know, kind of the simple things. It's pretty basic, but they do have specialty alcohol as well as a non-alcoholic beverage like the Mystic Portal Punch. And right now they even have something specialty for the Little Mermaid movie that came out just a few months ago. So it's easy to skip. We'll put it that way. That's why it's towards the bottom. For our third from the bottom snack stand, we're gonna head over here to the milk stand and talk about why it's not at the bottom, but it's also not towards the top. So this is the milk stand over here in Galaxy's Edge, and when we say milk stand, that's pretty much it. That is all you can get over here. Blue and green milk only. It is a neat experience, and I will ease your worries. I will ease your worries because it's not real milk. It's like a rice milk. You can spike it. It's not actually dairy, so you don't have to worry about that in the heat. We don't think it's a must-do though. It's a neat experience, especially if you're a Star Wars fan, but it might be gross for some people. You know, Sage says he needs the backstory. Where's the milk come from? You know, just say the word, he wants to figure that out. It's in the movies, but we don't really know much other than that. All right, back into the Pixar area with a more basic addition. This is the Neighborhood Bakery, which is actually kind of semi-recently reopened. So this right here is the Neighborhood Bakery. You're gonna find it right next to the Edna Mode Experience. This is where the famous Num Num cookie is located, which honestly is not my favorite, but a lot of people really, really enjoy it. It has some slushies, it has popcorn, but not too many items, so kind of keeping it lower on the list. So one of the first snack stands that you're gonna find here in Hollywood Studios is actually going to be the Trolley Car Cafe. And it's not super high on our list just because it's your normal Starbucks. They do have the carrot cake cookie, which is pretty iconic, and it's good, but you can get the rest of this stuff outside of Disney World. So weirdly, while I'm biased and I think this is the best Starbucks in Disney World, it's still just a Starbucks and not that great. And listen, although it's plain, still pretty darn good, and that's why it's not at the bottom. And if you're here, I mean, you have to get one, right? Alrighty, so next up after Trolley Car Cafe is KRNR Rock Station, right here by Rock and Roller Coaster. Now this one might seem a little bit too simple, but what can kind of put it over the top sometimes is on occasion, you can find corn dog nuggets here. During busier seasons, they might have them. They're not always here, but it is a really nice addition, especially if you're here during the summertime and you just want something a little bit different. Plus, who doesn't love a good corn dog nugget? All right, so another one that we're gonna chat about next up on our list is actually Scoops, which is here on Sunset Boulevard. So Scoops is right here in the shadow of the Tower of Terror, and what you're gonna find here mainly is Edie's ice cream, but what kind of puts it over the rest of the things we've already talked about is it has some specialty items too. A lot of times when specialty movies or different seasons come out, they'll have something seasonal that I really like to try, almost all of them if I can help it. And also you can make some of the ice cream in different flows and things boozy. Plus in the morning they have mimosas and a Mickey waffle platter, which maybe we'll have to grab. Now I will say one of my favorite things about Scoops, I couldn't resist, so I had to get them. The blueberry Mickey waffle bounty platter. It elevates Scoops. It does. It just elevates it. All right, we are almost to our #1 snack stand, but we're here at our #2 before we get there. Epic Eats by Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular. So Epic Eats might be a simple one, but these are delicious funnel cakes that we just think deserve some more love. The line's pretty good this morning, and I think that it's about time. They have fun things like strawberry topping with vanilla, cookies and cream. You can also just get plain funnel cakes and then soft serve waffle cones, and sometimes they'll do specialty ice creams as well. For our #1 snack stand, we're here in the market in Galaxy's Edge. We're gonna talk about SAKA'S Kettle. So right here next to Ronto Roasters, you're gonna find SAKA'S Kettle. This is where you're gonna find specialty popcorn and the famous cold brew black calf. Now supposedly the popcorn tastes like blueberry lemon pound cake and chili lime. You can ask Fry Bucket about that one. I'm not 100% sure. Even though I've tasted it, I kind of get the vibes, but honestly for me it's the black calf. The black calf is what sells this. It makes it the #1 snack stand for us. It's delicious, it's iconic, and maybe I should get one. So when it comes to lounges, our first one on the list is going to be Tune-In Lounge over here, connected to Primetime Cafe, 50's Primetime Cafe. Sage likes to describe this one as an ex-boyfriend, and I think that's very funny. So, you know, it's kind of like an ex that not always the best, but they're always around. It's kind of like Tune-In. Let's go inside. That said, the bartenders here at Tune-In Lounge are fantastic. Old-fashioned bartending with a good conversation, and we usually end with a good laugh chatting with them, even if we're just grabbing a drink to go. So if this one is next to last for lounges, you know that there are some pretty good lounges here in Hollywood Studios, and that's because we're going to talk about Baseline, which is strangely enough one of my favorites. Baseline is a huge crowd pleaser here. It has beers on draft and then even some ciders, some frozen drinks. We absolutely love this spot. Our entire team really likes it. It has great charcuterie for the price, plus again, some really yummy beers and ciders. 10 out of 10. Now our second favorite lounge here in Hollywood Studios is in Galaxy's Edge at Oga's Cantina. Alright, so here at Oga's, there is honestly nothing like a space bar with a robot DJ. Now did you think I was going to say that? If you haven't been here, maybe you didn't. It has really great drinks, but I will be honest, a horrific charcuterie board. Do not spend your money on the charcuterie board. The other small plates are nice, but a little bit forgettable. Honestly, the best part about this is the experience. It's saying that you got to go to Oga's. Reminder, most of it's pre-mixed, so don't expect like a full bar service, but the bar drinks that they do have are pretty darn good. When it comes to lounges in Hollywood Studios, and honestly a little bit of Disney World, like, this is a #1 for me. This is not up for debate, and I know that our team agrees. We feel very passionately about the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge. So seated outside of the Hollywood Brown Derby restaurant is the Hollywood Brown Derby Lounge. You can actually get the entire Hollywood Brown Derby menu served out here, as well as the iconic drinks. You can walk up and get on that wait list. It is just a nice experience outside under the shade, and even if you don't want to eat everything, they have a full bar out here, so you can walk up, grab an iconic drink if you like, and then head on your way. If you'd like to check this out and see a little bit more in depth of the lounge itself, you can go see our How to Do Disney's Hollywood Studios video, where we actually stop here for dinner. For our absolute worst of the worst quick services, we're here by Catalina Eddie's. I'm sorry, Eddie. So Catalina Eddie's is like Pizza Rizzo's, but worse. And if you don't know what Pizza Rizzo's is, just hold on a second, we'll get there. It's mediocre pizza, and you have to sit in the sun. We'll talk about that being an issue with another one in just a second, but it's just not the best. I'm sorry. Now, honestly, y'all, I can't believe it, but this is not the lowest one on the quick service. We've already gone through that. What you probably thought was the worst quick service is actually the next to worst quick service, and that's Pizza Rizzo's. So this is Pizza Rizzo's. Pizza Rizzo's, I think, and so does our team, we all think this is arguably one of the worst restaurants, honestly, in Disney World. Has floppy pizza, the crust is a little bubbly. It's a safe option for picky eaters for sure. It's just not overly appetizing, although sometimes when you're walking past, the smell of the garlic, it'll get you, because it smells great. But I promise you there are better options here in Hollywood Studios, and honestly in anywhere in Disney World. However, there's a fun wedding dance room upstairs, so that's cool, and there's always lots of seating, so, you know, do with that what you will. So sticking with the worst of the worst, we stopped over here by Tower of Terror to check out Rosie's. Rosie's All-American Cafe really focuses mainly on burgers, and they're kind of mediocre, but really what makes Rosie's the worst is although it's covered, it oftentimes feels like you're sitting in the sun when you're here in the middle of the day. Luckily, it's not too bad just yet, but it gets bad. So after Rosie's, next up we have Dockside Diner. There was a point in time where this would have been much higher on the list, especially if you let Quincy make the list. Previously, Fairfax would have been much higher on the list, but now they've moved those hot dogs over here to Dockside Diner, and frankly, they are just not as good. Quincy would even describe them as semi-lackluster, if that tells you anything. It's still nice to have a fancy hot dog as an option, but the quality just isn't really there. But they do have some nice things like the banana split parfait and the blue sea margarita, so do with that what you will. All right, when it comes to quick services, the middle of the pack is gonna start right over here with Backlot Express, and it's in the middle for a reason. So when it comes to Backlot, honestly, it's mainly mediocre burgers, I'll be honest with you. They do have a handful of different options to kind of give a higher spot on our list. Things like the teriyaki bowl and a Wookiee cookie can be a reason to stop by. And there's kind of a secret-ish view of Indiana Jones if you sit close enough. It's not a great view, but it's there. You know, we'll give it the points. So is it great? No, No, but is it all right? Yes, and it's a safe option for picky eaters. So a little bit higher on the list, we're getting into Fairfax Fair, which is weirdly one of my favorite spots. So also along Sunset with a lot of the other things we've talked about today is Fairfax Fair. The menu here is so tasty. You can find a lot of different potato and waffle bowls. They're savory and they even have some nice desserts with that toffee and coconut blondie. It's pretty filling, although it's a little bit expensive. The potato bowls are loaded and they offer a really nice variety compared to other spots in Hollywood Studios, so this one's a favorite for me. Next up after Fairfax Fair, we are going to talk about Ronto Roasters. So if you haven't figured it out, we really love space food. Ronto Roasters being one of them, even though we're in the DJ up here. This is really good. It has breakfast, it has lunch. It does close at 3 o'clock though, so if you're planning on coming over here at 3 or 3:30, it's not going to work out. Between the breakfast Ronto wraps, the regular Ronto wraps, and the robot who just wants to DJ, what more can you ask for? We will say ask for more of the peppercorn sauce for that Ronto wrap. I promise it makes a difference. Now, if I were the only person making this list, this next spot would be number 1, but it's still a good number 3. That's ABC Commissary. ABC Commissary is an ABC show themed quick service here. You can find memorabilia from Abbott Elementary, The Connors Bachelors, ABC, you know, any ABC affiliated show. I honestly really love this. Several years ago, it kind of got a menu revamp with things like the pork carnitas tacos, the shrimp tacos, which are my personal favorites, and even a buffalo chicken grilled cheese. Honestly, this is a delicious spot. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It's not super adventurous. It's like a safe adventurous, you know. It's not your everyday theme park food, and that's why we like it. For our number 2 spot, we are here in Toy Story Land for quick services, and that is Woody's Lunchbox, a personal favorite of mine. And let's get into why. So in my humble personal opinion, and I know our team agrees, there's really not a bad option here. You can find famous things like the tachos, they have grilled cheeses, they have the brisket melt, which is my personal go-to right now. Plus they even have the grown-up lemonade. There is so much more. I really, really, really love this quick service. And if you want to see all about it, me and Fry Bucket review all of Woody's Lunchbox in our Eat Everything Toy Story Land video, so go check that out. The absolute best, without a doubt, quick service here in Hollywood Studios. We're gonna hang out at Docking Bay 7. So Docking Bay 7 is right here next to the Millennium Falcon itself, and you honestly cannot go wrong with space food in my opinion. This is a location that our entire staff, reporters included, goes back to time and time again, and I think that speaks for itself because we eat a lot of Disney food. It has great qualities and quantities in the quick service meals. Plus, I mean, it's just space food. If you want to see more about Docking Bay 7 and kind of get a full overview of every single thing on the menu, our team just did a full review called Eat Everything in Galaxy's Edge, where you can see all about that and you can see about the milk stand as well. Lots of things over there, so go check it out. To start us off on the bottom of our table service options, we're here at Hollywood and Vine. So Hollywood and Vine is actually here towards the front of the park near Echo Lake, and it is the character dining option here in Hollywood Studios. And normally we would rank character dining options a little bit higher, but this one is just meh. The interesting thing about Hollywood and Vine is that the theme of the restaurant and the character outfits change throughout the year. So there's Silver Screen Dine, Springtime Dine, Summertime Dine, Halloween Dine, and Holiday Dine, which of course are all hosted by Minnie Mouse. When it comes to character dining, this is just not the best option. There are better options in Disney World for character dining. However, this one does have a fun little Halloween thing where Minnie and all her friends wear different costumes, but other than that, it's just not that good. It's just not, you can't rate it that high. Now, our next to last worst one, unfortunately, is Mama Melrose, kind of back here in the Muppets area. So I won't lie to you guys, I've been to Mama Melrose and I really liked it. Overall, compared to other dining in Hollywood Studios, Mama Melrose, the theming is just, The food is all right. I actually really liked what I got, but overall, it's just not our favorite. And compared to the others, it's just meh. But Mama Melrose, it's all right. If you want to know more in-depth reviews, of course, we have one up on the channel that you can go check out right now. When it comes to table services, this one's kind of the middle of the pack, but we'll tell you why. This one is SCIFI. So here we are. This is the SCIFI Dine-In Theater Restaurant, and this one is not last, but also kind of the middle of the pack here. The theming is what really sells this for us. The burgers are good. They're not half bad. You know, they're all right, but it's the experience. You get to sit in a faux car and watch movies like you're at a drive-in. We really, really like this spot just because it's neat, and this is a great one for kiddos kiddos too if you want a special experience with kind of safer food like burgers. All right, getting into our top 3, we are here at 50's Primetime. So 50's Primetime Cafe is a super fun restaurant. It has great theming, like you're in the 1950s, you're all family, you're all cousins here. It's a crazy experience and the food is nice and comforting. Sage and I are doing a full review very soon, so keep your eyes out on the channel for that one and we'll let you know what we think. Coming in at number 2 in our table service is Rodeo Roundup Barbecue. So this is Rodeo Roundup Barbecue and it is the newest restaurant here in Hollywood Studios. It is themed all around a Rodeo Roundup barbecue restaurant that Andy has created in his backyard. You can even hear him. I have not had the chance to personally eat here. However, my team that helped me make this list said this was absolutely wonderful. It was such a neat experience. It was very different and it tastes exactly like homemade barbecue, which is pretty nice if that's something you like a lot but don't always get to make. So number 2 for Rodeo Roundup. Overall, the team said not only was the food incredible, but the entire experience, and it made you, Quincy said it was the first time she truly felt like a toy in Toy Story Land. If you want to see the full review, it is up on the channel now. You can go check that out. It's a really good one. All right, and if you hadn't guessed it by now, we are finally to our number 1 table service spot, the Hollywood Brown Derby, and this one is the number 1 for a reason, y'all. So outside of the fact that we've already discussed its incredible lounge, this is honestly one of the best restaurants in all of Disney World in my opinion. The incredible Cobb salad is here, great for martinis. I could go on and on. I mean, it's just nice and honestly, I think it's fancy too. It has great quality and it is a higher end experience. It's number 1 hands down. It is a little bit pricier, but this is one of my favorite places to come in Disney World if I'm treating myself or celebrating something really special. This is gonna sound so silly, but this was one of those restaurants that I was like, when I get to go there, I know that I've made it in my Disney World bucket list goals of life. Because as a kid, you know, it's expensive. You never think you'll get to go. We came for my 21st birthday, my husband and I, and it's just so special. It has a special place in my heart. I know a lot of people love it. So yes, this is easily our number 1 here. All right, so that accounts for all of the dining here in Hollywood Studios. We didn't talk popcorn carts, and there were a handful of things that didn't really fit into our categories, but this is the restaurants in Hollywood Studios. What do you guys think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to know. If you guys liked this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Now go check out how to do Hollywood Studios in one day, already up on the channel now, and I'll see you there.